Hello tubers, welcome to my channel. Let's get this journey started. What's going on tubers, and welcome to my first video on my channel. You ever taken your vehicle to a shop or to a dealership, or maybe call a contractor to come over your house and try to get some drywall repair done, or maybe a toilet replacement, and then you get a quote and you see that, wow, it's pretty expensive. You feel like maybe taken advantage of, or you want to save yourself a couple $100? Follow me through my journey and I'm going to show you how to do certain simple maintenance and some repairs that can be compatible to other vehicles. I own a Toyota Camry, a Mercedes-Benz S550, and also a Dodge Ram 1500, the 4.7 Hemi engine. And I'm going to show you a lot of situations I've gotten into where I needed repairs and I did it myself, cost effective, and I'll give you some comparisons versus you doing it yourself versus you taking it to a shop, dealership, or hiring a contractor. Today I'm going to talk about some simple and basic on my Toyota Camry. It's a 2007. I'm going to show you before you go on the road trip, instead of you taking your car to get looked at to make sure you're ready to go, you can do it yourself. One of the first things you want to do is check your oil. Anytime you're dealing with oil, you definitely want to put on some latex gloves. On some individuals, whether it's male or female, you might touch some oil, you might get a skin reaction, allergic reaction, or a rash. So you want to put latex gloves to make sure you protect yourself. You also want to have a paper towel, or you want to have a rag. You want to check your oil at a ground level. Make sure your car's at ground level before you check your oil. You're going to pull out your dipstick. You're going to wipe your oil. Then you're going to put it back inside, all the way down. All right, all the way down. Bring it back up slowly. And you're going to check your oil. In a lot of vehicles, your oil might have, your dipstick might have these little knots right here. Some of them might have little lines with little zigzag. You always want to keep it somewhere in the middle or a little bit higher. You definitely never want to have it below the line. And if you do, you need to add some oil. And for example, in here, it looks like it's a little bit high. Don't even worry about it, because when you're taking out your oil, all that oil pan through the little funnel, it's going to drag out. You can turn it around. You can see that my oil is literally right there, 3/4 up the way, so I know my oil is fine. And if you feel like you maybe need to check it again, just dip it back in and check it again. If you do need to add oil in your car, normally on your oil cap, it's going to tell you what type of oil you need to buy. For example, mine is 5W30. If your cap doesn't have it, or maybe it's burned off, you want to check your owner's manual. It will tell you exactly the specification, the type of oil that you need in your car. The next thing I want to talk about is your washer fluid. It all depends where you live at. Washer fluids, they have different types of coloring, different type of degrees. The normal one that everybody uses is the blue one. Normally that goes up to 0 degrees. You want to make sure when you fill up your windshield tank, you don't want to have it all the way too much high. And the reason why is when it gets cold in the winter area, a lot of times they have a tendency of freezing. And when it freezes, it becomes to ice. And then once it starts getting cool, the ice is going to start expanding. And if you have it all the way to the top, it's got nowhere to go. I've seen it before where your little fluid reservoir tank is going to go ahead and crack. And it's going to start leaking. So to prevent that, you want to get yourself the -20 or the -30 that they sell, the degrees that you can buy, which normally looks like the purplish color or the orange color. The next thing you want to check in this particular car, you're gonna check your radiator. You want to make sure your coolant is all the way to the top. And I already took these little knobs out. What you do is got a little push pin. You push it in. Get yourself a little plastic piece designed for that. You pop it out. Then you take this out right here. And then right here is my radiator cap. And some vehicles don't have this radiator at all. You can check it out. Normally you do it through your expansion tank here. But in this particular car, you can twist this, push this down, twist it. I'm not going to do it right now because my car is still warm and it's under pressure, so you don't want your coolant to come out. So you want to make sure it's all the way to the top. And then when you check that out, and if it's full, you're good to go. Then you also want to check your tank right here to make sure it's at the full mark in this particular car. It's in the full mark, so I know that my coolant is fine. Again, anything that you're going to do in your engine that you have to replace any fluids, you can always go to your owner's manual. And in case you don't know, you don't have an owner's manual, you can always call the parts shop of the Toyota dealership or any dealership that you have in your car, and they normally will tell you what type of liquid you need to put in there. The next one I'm going to talk about is your power steering fluid, same thing. You want to make sure that it is up to your max level, and you also have your minimum level. So you always want to have it at least up to your max. You come around over here, and you also want to check your brake fluid. Same thing. There's always an indication here. Mine's max level's right there. Mine's a little bit below the max level, so I'm still fine. But if I wanted to add some more, I can just go ahead and fill it up. And some of these vehicles that tell you what you need. For example, this one's telling me if I need to add some more, I need to use .3 brake fluid. In this particular car, it doesn't have a dipstick, but some vehicles have your transmission dipstick. You pull it out, same thing like your oil. You check it. Normally you check when your car is hot or cold. The dipstick will tell you hot or cold, and you add it accordingly. In this car, it doesn't have a dipstick because they have a self-sealed transmission fluid in the vehicle. The other thing too, I have a cold air intake. I know mine's a little bit dirty, but it's not that dirty really. But in a regular car, you have your little casing. There's usually 2 clips in the front, 1 on each side. You pop that open, make sure that your air filter is clean. They're normally white. If it's dirty or you see a lot of contraptions, little dirt particles stuck in there, just go ahead and replace it. Alright, you also want to check your battery. Make sure your battery doesn't have all that little oxidation that happens in there. If it does, just clean it out, disconnect them, clean it out. And they also have some type of lubricant grease you can put in there and cover it up. Next thing you also want to check is going to be your air pressure on your tires. There's a lot of misconceptions where you might read your tire, it might say maybe 60 to 80 psi max. That is not the way you do your check your air pressure tires. You definitely want to come over here in your vehicle. You're going to open up your driver's side door. In some vehicles, you're going to have a sticker right here. Or in my car, it is right here. And in my car, for this particular, it says front and rear, 17-inch rims. It's going to be 32 psi. For my car, it's actually 20-inch rims that my car have. So normally the thumb rule is whatever inches you go higher on your rims, you definitely want to give it about 1 or 2 more psi. So normally I keep mine about 38 psi. Another example, my S550, it has 20-inch rims that it came with. That is specified to be at 39. My Dodge Ram has also 20-inch rims, and that is recommended to have 35 psi. It is very important that you make sure that you keep all your tires, your 4 tires, within that pressure, because that is your max capacity load rate that you want to have your tires at. And also, according to the transportation department, it saves you fuel when you're traveling. You also want to make sure that your spare tire in your trunk, make sure you also have air in there, just in case you might catch a flat tire. You want to make sure that tire doesn't have any air. So you want to grab your little pressure gauge. You should have one in your little carry bag, little pressure gauge, and you take this off right here, and then you check your pressure. And you want to make sure that when you check in your pressure on your tires, you can check it out in the morning, at night. It doesn't matter when you want to check it out, but you want to make sure that you have not driven your car. Technically, what they call it, a cold start. And why is that? You want to make sure that when you check your pressure and your tire, you get an accurate reading. So your ambient temperature is going to be what's going to give you your reading for your tires. If you start driving your tires more than a mile, you're going to make your tire very warm. If you want to do it mathematically also, if you don't have a nearby gas station, you need to go put air in your tire. You can check your tires before you turn your car and drive to the gas station. Let's say it's 35, and then you get to your gas station and you check all your tire pressures again, and it's 40. Then you already know mathematically, okay, it was at 35, it's 40 now. I need to add 8 more, and you add it like that. You can also do that also. You also want to inspect your tires. When you look at your tires, you want to make sure that it is worn evenly. It is recommended that every 5,000 miles for you to rotate your tires. It also depends on your manufacturer's recommendation. If this side is worn out more than the rest of the tire, or this side is worn more, you need to make sure that you do a wheel alignment. Because if you don't, once this tire wears out, that is your possibility that you might have a blown tire. That's some of the reasons why you see a lot of cars in the summertime have a blown tire. It's because you're not doing the proper wheel alignment and your tire's starting to wear out the wrong way. Also, in case you might see this is perfect, it's got good thread, but here it might be kind of worn down too much. Not only can it might be your wheel alignment, it also can be your suspension system. Maybe it's time for you to replace your shocks and struts. one of the things you should have before you travel anywhere is have yourself a little traveling bag. This is my little traveling bag, and usually when I carry in my traveling bag, if you have aftermarket rims, you definitely want to make sure that you have your wheel locks. Just in case you have a flat tire, you want to make sure that you're able to take your tires out. Also, for example, you get a flat tire, you also want to have a plug kit. Alright, and also you want to make sure you carry a flashlight also in case you do get a flat tire at night. And also you have a pair of vice grips or maybe a pair of pliers. So let's give an example. You're driving right now, during the day, you catch a flat tire, you take your tire out, you can use your vice grips to pull your nail out. Once you start pulling the nail out, you're going to hear all that hissing sound, right? Then you're going to grab this little wannabe syringe saw looking thing, you're going to put that in your tire, you're going to make that hole bigger. Once you make it bigger, you're going to go ahead and grab your little plug-in kit. You're going to put this inside here in the middle, then you're going to go ahead and put it inside your tire, and when this is bending inside, it's going to go in your tire, then you're going to pull it back out, and this plug kit is going to stay in there. Alright, and then you can go ahead and just flatten the rest of it, or you can grab yourself a little knife, you can just cut it and make it evenly. And then you also want to make sure in your bag, which I don't have in this car right now, it's in one of my other vehicles, is you want to make sure you have an air compressor. You can hook it up to your cigarette lighter and put it in your tires. Another important thing you want to make sure you have, you want to make sure that you carry a torque wrench. Alright? Your lug nuts. Again, every owner's manual would tell you what is your foot-pounds that you need to have your lug nuts torqued. Everybody has different type of strength. So let's just say I take my tires out, or I'm ready for my road trip. If I replace the tire, and let's say I do it by hand, I think it's fine. I start driving, what can happen? If I don't have it within specs, if it's too loose, there's a possibility that these are going to loosen up and come off, and your tire's going to come off, and it's going to have a major accident. Or if you over-tighten it too tight. If you tighten it too tight, you can actually have this lug nut go deep inside your thread where it's going to crack your lug nut, and that's not good. The other thing too, if you have it way too tight, you have a possibility of warping your rotors. So you want to make sure that you have the specific torque wrench and specify to make sure that your rim is properly tightened. And in this case, it's 76 foot-pounds for this Toyota Camry. Another thing that you want to have a pair of cable jumpers, just in case your battery it's pretty much have lived its life expectancy. You want to make sure that you have this, because in case you do get your car won't start again, you can go ahead and maybe you have a good Samaritan that can actually give you a jump start. A lot of people don't carry these, and they can actually save yourself a lot of time and hassle for trying to call AAA or insurance company to come get you a jump start or anything like that. Other than that, that is pretty much what you want to do prior to you taking a road trip. Thanks for tuning in. If you like my content, subscribe below and follow me in my journey as I show you how to do car maintenance and home repairs.